Okay, so quickly as introduction, we've been in refurbishing retirement village units for about 10 years now. We've completed over 3,000 refurbishments, and I guess that makes us a bit of an expert in the space. And it's a number of our clients, but we've got a few that will give us 100 units a year, and we've got a number that will just give us 2 or 3 units a year. They're all important, and it's actually taught us how to. The number one thing is actually being treated as almost a partner in the business, not just a contractor, because you do learn all the intricacies of how to work within a village. And Tash, if you want to jump on to the next slide. So there's a number of things that are different, I suppose, to regular construction in villages. We all know it's the most complicated thing for us is dealing with all the different stakeholders. It's a live environment. It's not just a building site. So we deal with our clients, the village owners. We also have to deal with the village management. Usually the sales professional wants to get involved. And of course, there's a load of residents in the village. And then as a builder, we deal with our contractors and our staff. So there's a number of different things here that choosing a specialist builder, I think, is so important that a lot of the operators we deal with don't realise that. And when they're always looking for a new builder, like every village we work in, there is always builders there. There's already builders there. Some of them have been there for 20 years. And they have a good relationship with the village. But yeah, coming into a live environment is a very different space to a typical building site. So one of the things that we've found over the years is just onboarding the right contractors is 50% of the issues that we see. So making sure that they're good people. You know, they've got working with children checks and police checks done. But that's a standard for us. Supervising the works, making sure that if you use the same contractors, they do get used to working in a village. You're not onboarding new contractors all the time. So it's having consistent people in the village. It makes it easier for all the operators and the residents that are there if they know who the trades are that are coming and going, and getting the support of the total business. So that way we do see the best customer experience. And the customer, although is the operator, we're also dealing with the residents there, and it's making sure that they're brought along the journey as well. Safety and compliance, it comes up. It's a relatively safe space from a builder's point of view, but we know that an incident on site is the worst possible news that you can have. None of us want to have an incident or a media event, so making sure the contractors have all the relevant SWIMs or the safe work method statements and insurances. We're very conscious of making sure that no one walks onto any of the villages without the right insurances and the SWIMs in place. Running toolbox meetings and site-specific inductions. Almost every operator has a slightly different induction form, but they're very similar. But yeah, making sure that every contractor knows what they're doing. A good builder will also be able to know when a permit's required. A lot of the refurbishments don't need permits, but if you do need a permit, you want to make sure you're getting one and getting the right type of permit. A good builder will be able to look for negotiating dispensations with building surveyors. So you don't necessarily need a permit, but you might have to modify a unit that was built 30 years ago that isn't today's code, but it was at the time. And you can offer alternative designs to meet the National Construction Code. That's the beauty of bringing a builder that knows how the village operations and renovations work. And communicating, we find that is probably the number one thing, not just for our staff, but it's really keeping the village management up to date. So we're very conscious of providing weekly and fortnightly updates to our customers, but also often they want us to involve the village management on key dates, especially if a unit's got a settlement. We absolutely can't miss those settlement dates. So getting the comms out to all the stakeholders is super important. Getting consistent specifications and documentations, that's another thing that we don't always struggle with, but a lot of the smaller and independent companies that have been dealing with builders for a number of years just say, well, the builder puts in what they want. And we sort of say, you really want to have a consistent specification, because when you want to do repairs in 10 years' time, you want to know what was installed, and the builder installed what he said he was going to do. Because it makes repairs and maintenance a lot easier to manage. So we're happy to help build up a specification if needed, but then also getting the documentation right. So having a set of plans showing the changes is very useful. And if you're going to go to tender and have a panel of builders, a lot of our bigger clients will have 2 or 3 builders on a panel, and it just means that you're getting priced apples for apples. You haven't got different builders putting in different things. So having a specification and a set of plans is fantastic. So I wouldn't say it's vital, but it does make it a lot easier if you want to onboard a new builder. Um, Having the Div 5 asbestos report provided is very useful for a builder or a contractor. Most of the villages do have these, but we often have to ask for it. And then that makes it easier for us to get the Div 6 report done to say that that particular unit is clear. If the village knows it's got asbestos, it's very good to be able to tell that up front. A lot of the older villages don't have great plans with all the services, and we've come across numerous times where there's a TV aerial that's common to a number of units, and cutting a TV off to 8 units when you're renovating one, we know the village management gets about 7 phone calls immediately to say, why is my TV broken? So yeah, services and power feeds under slabs is also a common thing. So we'll x-ray slabs before we cut them if we're changing bathroom or kitchen layouts. But yeah, if we've got plans like that available, it does make it a lot easier. And of course, if you have good plans and good specifications, you've almost got no variations. We pride ourselves on going to all our clients to say that if we miss something that's on the scope, it's our cost and our wear. The only variations that come up reasonably often should be for latent conditions, and that's things like mould or structural issues or termites once the strip out's completed. But apart from that, if you have a good specification and a great floor plan, there should be very few variations that come up. And pricing's always a hot topic. It's got to be a competitive price. We know that. All of our customers tell us that price is a very important consideration. Being a bigger builder doesn't add cost. In fact, quite often we come in very competitively priced because we have not the ability to scale up, but we're negotiating to buy 1,000 toilets a year. We're going to buy a better priced toilet than someone that's only buying 5 or 6 a year. So we manage to pass those savings on to all our clients because it makes it a better process overall. The other great thing about having, I suppose, a specialist builder like us, we have a procurement team, and they're actively negotiating with suppliers, guaranteeing that products are available when needed. And we can also forward any changes in prices to our clients well in advance. So we like to know that we can hold our price for a significant time. The Middle East war has certainly challenged us recently. We haven't seen huge price rises, and most of those changes have come about in the way of a fuel surcharge, which is a good way of presenting it because it means that if things do change, the prices can go back the way they were. We certainly don't like seeing prices go up randomly because they very rarely come down once the price really goes up. But yes, we've been very good to negotiate with our suppliers to make sure we do minimise those changes. The warranty and the aftercare, that's the other thing that we find if you get a specialist builder in there, then they're regularly in the village. They're able to assist if there's any minor jobs that come up with residents. And we're quite happy to quote the smaller jobs as well. It doesn't need to be a full refurbishment because we've got teams in place. We're in the village already, so it doesn't cost any more to run a reinstatement for us as it does a refurbishment. So it's we're there to partner with all our clients. And I think if you employ a builder that really knows this space, they're usually more than happy to do that. The freeing up resources. I know full well that almost every village team is run pretty leanly. So if you can utilise a builder that is happy to focus on you and be a part of the team, it does free up a lot of time for the business. You know, knowing that a job's going to come in as specified, on time to the price that was quoted and built to code, it just is a good peace of mind for everyone that's involved. So they're probably the most important things that we've found coming up with this, you know, picking a builder that knows this space and knows retirement villages. There's quite a few builders out there that have moved into this space, but a lot of them are also generalist builders or insurance builders. So we've remained focused just on retirement villages, and knowing that especially in the more rural areas, we're there to help out the the village management team a lot more. Tash, you want to jump on to the next slide? So one of the main things that I think comes up, and this is probably almost be an industry standard now, is making sure that you've got KPIs that you're tracking the builder with. These aren't difficult to manage if you know what you're doing. So picking a builder that can deliver on time, we know time is critical getting these done. So we track all of our jobs. We typically run at about 98% on time or early delivery in full, and we're pretty proud to do that. Occasionally you get something that is just not available, and you can't finish it, but it's very, very rare. And we would almost always come back to say, here's an option. It's a different oven. It's an up-spec model. There's no cost difference, but it's going to be different to what we thought we were putting in because there is no supply. And that's the advantage of having a builder that knows this space and is planning ahead. Turning around all the jobs on time. It's a very fast-paced business, this. And picking a builder or working with a builder that knows how to work in a retirement village just means that defects are turned around quickly, jobs are started quickly, and you're getting sign-off as quick as you can so that you don't miss those deadlines. And I touched on earlier safety management. It's super important in these villages to make sure that there are the daily check-ins to make sure that all the contractors are on site. They're inducted every day. They're making sure that everyone knows what's going on, and that even neighbours just being aware that there's people working in the unit next door to them. We're very conscious of noise transfer and inconvenience of having builders on site. So just making the neighbours aware that there's going to be noise is a great thing. The next one is what we're talking about today, I suppose, is working out what is the best fit for purpose with the units. Doing a standard reinstatement, we would say industry expectations is you can turn them around in 3 weeks. Sometimes it's 2 weeks, but typically 3 weeks for a reinstatement. And a refurbishment shouldn't be any more than 8 weeks once on site. They're relatively easy to run at that speed as long as the builders are used to working in retirement villages, because they jump. There's no waiting to get going. With contract drops, you're expected to be on site straight away. And then one of the things that's popping up more and more is the reconfiguring the design. They're all around the same size, two bedroom, kit garage, 1.5 bathrooms, but often they were built with a different expectation of how today's people want to live. Opening up kitchens, putting a second toilet in, even relocating a laundry to create a second bathroom. They're all becoming more and more common. A lot of these units are built in great locations, and they don't factor in that. Like looking out onto a lake or a river or the beach, you can spend a little bit more money on a refurbishment. When I say a little bit more money, it can be upwards of another $100,000 to completely strip it out and change it. But we've seen the uplift of several $100,000 when this happens, and it's certainly worth considering because it does revalue the whole business. If you can pick up that extra 200,000 a unit, as James said, if you're looking at doing 15 units a year, it is a quantum change. Final slide, Tash. So we've got a bit of a time frame here that we say you should be looking at with all your builders. It's generally a week from site inspection to providing a quote, and that includes a site visit just to make sure that the scope is correct and we've been given the correct plans, because sometimes we've been given the wrong plans and that makes it a bit tricky. But going to site every time, you just pick up any things that have been missed and confirm the scope is correct. And then the closeout, we would expect to close out and have all defects rectified within a week. You can't sell a place, you can't show people through if you've got defects, or even things that are missing. So it's making sure that you can turn those around and respond to the client to say the defects have been closed out. That's probably the number one thing that we find is meeting the timeframes. It's what every client wants. And then the last slide is really if you're there's lots of builders out there in this space, but if you're looking for a builder and you want to have a chat, we've got plenty of good ideas. We're there to help. We're there to partner. So we work all over Melbourne, from Geelong and the Mornington Peninsula, New South Wales. We're up and down the coast, and we're looking at setting up in Queensland next year. So please feel free to reach out to us if you want to have a chat. Like I said, there's lots of builders out there, but having a competitive tension between builders is always good with the client. We're not there to win every job, but we're certainly there to make it a better experience for our partners.